Bill, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, Lion Bruce. I just wanted to introduce myself to everyone as the incoming first vice for the district. I just wanted to let you know of the importance of this training. The district fully supports it, and I'm glad that you're all here to participate. Having been a club secretary myself, I can tell you that it is the most important position in a club. I don't care what the presidents say, secretary is key. You keep things running, you keep the president informed about what's going on, record keeping, and the myriad other things that the secretaries have to do. So I certainly respect you and appreciate what you're doing for the clubs as secretaries. So, and the other thing is, I'm available if there's anytime there's a problem, a question. I'm not a secretary expert, but I know a few things. So thanks everybody, and have a good training.
Thank you, Lion Bill. Next, we're going to hear from incoming second Vice District Governor, Al Johnson. And
good evening, everyone. Welcome to the training for secretaries. Glad to be here as a second Vice District Governor. We are looking forward to a very challenging year. Tammy Reckenbach, our incoming governor, is going to talk about later some things about membership, which I hope you take to heart. I just want to reiterate that because of the challenges we have, we are going to be asked to do a lot of new and different things, and we'll have to look forward to making changes and hopefully making a very big impact with those changes. And I wish us all the best of health. So with that, I'll leave you at the training and continue to ask questions, because we'll find a way to answer them for you.
thank you, Lion Al.
Bruce, I can just say something real quick.
Okay.
Tammy's on another call. She's on the membership call right now, I believe. Right, Greg?
Yeah, she'll be joining us later.
Yeah, so membership is the big thing for the upcoming year. So go out there and recruit. The big thing is, I think we've done a great job recruiting and getting new members. The big thing is we lose too many members, and it's a retention issue. So we need to somehow keep those people involved. But thank you for all your support through the year. For last year, many of you guys were secretaries last year. And our district is actually doing very well with secretaries reporting in the My Lions system. So I thank you for that. And that's really what I want to say.
Thank you, Lion Conrad. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. We have a PowerPoint presentation sort of to guide us through here, so we'll get that started in a second here. Okay. We'll start this off with the duties and responsibilities of the club secretary. We have quite a few returning secretaries, some that have been secretaries for many years. We would like to welcome the new secretaries. I think there are 6 or 7 new secretaries in our district for next year, so that's good to see. I would like to have the experienced secretaries, if they have something to say or would like to add something, please feel free to do so. Just unmute or raise your hand, and Adam will let me know that you want to say something. From there, let's move on. Yeah, let's see. Okay, Getting ready for your term as secretary. You've been elected, now what? Review all the training materials that you were sent and take the online training. You can start there. Attend the club officer training, which you're doing tonight. If you're a new secretary, meet with your current secretary and glean what you can from him or her. They're probably your go-to resource and probably your best resource on how things operate within your club. Next, you want to create your My Lion account. If you haven't created a Lion account previously, do so now. You're going to need to get into My Lion and My LCI for reporting purposes, and you can also take online training through the Lions Learning Center. For the new secretaries, if you haven't, you need to register, and you can do that by going to lionsclub.org and clicking on the member login and then clicking on register. Once you click on that, you'll need to have your email or cell phone number, your Lions member ID, which is on your newspaper or your Lions magazine, your birth date, and a password. That's all you need to register. But in order to get into these, you need that information and you need to set up that account. You also should verify the officer information is correct on your club roster and at MyLCI. Work with the club treasurer, the president, and the budget or finance committee to set up your budget for next year. And then if needed, you can work with the president to set up your committees and so on. In some clubs, and most clubs actually, secretary is relied on for these plus a lot of other things, especially if you're a longtime secretary. Your incoming presidents sort of rely on you to guide them through, and that's part of your job, to help them through their terms. When there are questions, it's usually the secretary that has the answer. So new secretaries, be prepared for this and be prepared to go above and beyond what just your normal duties are. Preparing for meetings, attendance expectations. Secretaries are expected to attend all the monthly membership and board meetings, club service activities, zone and region meetings. Usually there's 3 of those per year. Officer training or officer transition, if you're transitioning in your club from officers from year to year, that's a good place to be. District convention and special meetings for your club, board, zone, or district. Once you start organizing your meetings, there are specific things that you will want to do before, during, and after a meeting, a club meeting, or a board meeting. Before a meeting, you want to advise your members of the dates and times at least a week in advance. I would suggest farther than that, having a set schedule. Most clubs do, so that's easy enough. But any special meetings, at least a week or 2 in advance. And it's always good to send out a reminder just a day or so ahead of time. You can use email, a written schedule. You can put it in your newsletter, on your web page, Facebook, or any combination, whatever works for your club. You should also prepare the meeting agenda with the president. If you work with the president in doing this, it's always a good step. The president learns what to do, and 2 heads are always better than 1 when you need to think of the things that you need to do at a meeting. And it's always a good practice to send the agenda to the members in advance, and then have some printed copies at the meeting as well. Gather the correspondence that comes in in between meetings. Now, that's done differently in different clubs. My club, I collect all the correspondence. But in some clubs, the president does. We have a post office box, so basically all of our mail goes to one address. So I basically take care of it. I think it's a good idea for clubs to have a post office box. That way, when officers change, the mail can still go to one place and you don't have to change addresses on everything. We'll talk a little bit more about correspondence later. Prepare any awards or new member kits that are needed before your meeting. As secretary, you're going to receive things like membership key pins from LCI. Those you'll want to hand out at the meeting. If you have attendance awards that you give out as a club, you'll want to get those ready and get those out at meetings. You also might be in charge of getting the Melvin Jones, Bert Sturm, or Night of Sight awards for your club. And of course, you need to prepare new member induction kits when you have new members to swear in. And prepare or print out an updated club roster for attendance at the meeting. You can print one of those at my LCI, or you can make your own in an Excel form or whatever you prefer. Going on to during the meeting, you want to take attendance, record the minutes, meeting minutes. I'll talk a little bit more about minutes a little bit later. Document the guests at the meeting, guest speaker, all other guests, Lions and non-Lion guests, and provide prospective new members with club information and an application form. After the meeting, you want to record your attendance in your master attendance file. If you use one, hopefully you do. You can use that for perfect attendance awards. Depending on your club policy, you can award the perfect attendance awards at a club meeting. You should, if you don't have a policy for perfect attendance, you should figure out one, and there should also be a policy for making up missed meetings if necessary. Record any awards that were presented, in the member records. Prepare, file, and distribute the minutes after they are approved. And usually, in our club, the president goes over the minutes, and I would think that in most clubs that would be the case. Receive new membership applications and give those to your membership chair and to the board of directors for approval. And follow up on any outstanding issues from the meeting. For board meetings, it's pretty much the same. You want to coordinate the agenda with the president or whoever is calling the board meeting. It might be the treasurer or the chair of the finance committee if it's a budget meeting. It might be a committee chair if it's another type of meeting. Notify the board members and committee chairs of the time and location. Send out the agenda. Take attendance, record the minutes, and follow the same after meeting procedure, recording the attendance in your permanent file, preparing file, and distributing the minutes after they've been approved, and follow up on outstanding or issues that need to be attended to after the meeting. Now, these are the general duties, and they may vary from club to club depending on your established procedures. So that's why it's always good to go over all of this stuff with your with the secretary that you're taking over for. I said I would talk a little bit more about the minutes. So in the minutes, you want to include certain things. I know that minutes is not the most enjoyable thing to do. I really don't like taking minutes. I find it's hard to listen and write and still take notes from time to time because you get involved in listening to discussion, etc., and you miss things. A couple of ideas, and they work for me. They might not work for you, but just something to think about. Make a copy of the agenda for yourself, leaving extra space between the items for notes. And if you can, use a recorder or your smartphone to record the meeting so you can play it back later when you're doing the minutes. Those always seem to help, and a lot of times I can remember stuff, but it's always good to go back if you miss something and you have those notes and a recording. Okay.
Bruce,
Yes.
this is Diane Mack. One thing that I'd like to add, that when I was secretary before, I can type faster than I can write. And I found it very helpful to use my laptop in the meeting and a copy of the agenda, like you said, and then I would just type my notes right there. And then it was very easy after the meeting to just transform that right into the minutes and send them out. So that was a tip that I had that worked very well.
Okay, thank you. In the minutes, you want to include the type of meeting, whether it's a regular board or a special meeting, the date, time, and place, the person presiding over the meeting. Usually that's the president, but it could be, like if it was the budget meeting, it could be the treasurer or the chair of the finance committee. You want to have the minutes and the treasurer's report. Those are read and approved. Motions carried and lost. Under motions, there's terminology that you should use. If a motion is passed, you should use carried, adopted, or sustained. And avoid using passed, I guess, is the Robert's Rules of Order. And for a lost or defeated motion, that's the terminology you should use, not failed. Also, under motions, the secretary is responsible for determining whether a quorum exists for voting. A quorum is generally accepted as the majority of members. So if you have, say, 30 members, you would need 16, 50% plus one for a majority. Or for the board, if you have 10 members, you would need 5 plus 1 or 6 for a quorum. And to rightfully pass a motion, you need a quorum. And you can read more about that information in the Robert's Rules of Order, which can be found on the district website if you care to look at them, or you can just Google them and they'll pop up on the internet too. Should record the time the meeting is called to order and adjourned. And for board meetings, you should record the members of the board that actually attended the meeting. Okay, we're gonna move on to club business records and reports. It's important to maintain the club's records. That's part of the duties of the secretary. And if your club does not have a system for maintaining records, including attendance and the members' records, payments of dues, etc., you should get one started. Some of the records that should be in that file are the club charter, the club constitution and bylaws, club history, minutes of all club and board of directors meetings, annual reports of club officers, activity and service reports, roster of club members, and the member records. One thing I wanted to talk about was member records and how that's really an important part of the records that a club should keep. Member records should include the name and member number, spouse if you want to include that, the date the member joined the club, all their contact information, address, phone, email, etc., their birthday. It's a good place to track awards that each member has received, any club awards, like perfect attendance or Lion of the Year, as well as awards for Melvin Joan Fellowship, Bert Sturm, Knight of Sight, any district, state, or international awards, and the date or year that they received those awards. Chevrons that they received, when they received them, members that they might have sponsored, and any membership keys that they've received, the offices that they've held and the years that they've held them, the committees that they've served on and the years, as well as the years that they served as a committee chair. Those are all really nice to have, especially if you lose a member, they pass away, and when it comes time, whoever is doing the necrology service for the district convention will be asking you for information on those lions that have passed away. So there's a real handy tool right there to have all that information in your file. And you should update those records as needed. And when you do receive changes to that information, especially address, phones, and emails, make sure that you update those on My LCI. We talked a little bit before about correspondence. The president and the secretary both receive a lot of correspondence from LCI, the district, the state, other clubs, other organizations, both by snail mail and by electronic mail. Please, you should decide who in your club is going to be responsible. Usually it falls to the secretary because they are usually multiple term officers. And if you're not directly responsible for the correspondence, please stay up to date with whoever it is. And it could be the president, it could be your club marketing communications chair if you have that. Just coordinate that and make sure that all communications are distributed to the proper committee or person so that they get handled promptly. Okay, we're going to move on to club reports that you'll be responsible for. You'll need to use My LCI and My Line to complete your reports. So as I mentioned before, if you don't have a Line account, make sure that you register and get that account set up. You'll be using My LCI to submit your monthly membership reports and your annual officer reports. You can, on My LCI, you can view, update, and download club member information or print membership cards if that's something that your club does. You can create a club roster, so you and your treasurer have the information for membership dues or taking attendance. You can actually print various reports, ready-made reports from my LCI for attendance, a club roster, officer report, and a club contact list, which has all the members' contact information. And then you can also customize reports with different member information with the data download portion of the reports. And those are reports that you can download for Excel. MyLion, which is used to report monthly activities for service projects, fundraisers, meetings, and donations, both past and future. You can review activities from other clubs on MyLion and use the planning guides to plan and service activities and fundraisers. It's very important that you learn to use MyLCI and MyLion. All the current secretaries have had a year to work with this, and it's been improved and updated several times, but I know it's been frustrating to many of them for this year, and hopefully with the improvements that they've made, it's more user-friendly, and updates continue to be made. So new secretaries, if you take the time to learn it, your first year will be a lot less frustrating. Now, if you weren't able to attend the MyLion training 2 weeks ago, you can contact Adam Krausen or myself, and we'll be glad to help you. We can go through it online. We can one-on-one Zoom meet with you and go over it. So if you're uncomfortable or have questions about it, please ask. We'd rather spend time with you now than have you frustrated for a whole year. Okay, moving on. Secretaries are also part of what's called the District Governor's Advisory Committee, which includes the zone chair, club presidents, first VPs, secretaries, and I also included membership and club service chairs because I think it's important for them to go to zone meetings as well. Zone meetings are a great opportunity to meet with other Lions in your area, share experiences, problems, get questions answered. Other secretaries and other club members from other clubs can be great resources. It allows you to, I gotta admit somebody here, so just give me a second. Sorry about that. You can establish cooperative relationships between other clubs, and it's also good to encourage other officers and other members of your club to go to zone meetings from time to time. There's always something to be learned there. And as a secretary, if your club is asked to host the zone meeting, you may be asked to help in those efforts. There's always opportunities, and I mentioned before that going to conventions and to other club functions and so on, it's always great to go to conventions and meet with other Lions and other Lion secretaries from other clubs, other areas in the state, if you go to the state convention, to learn of what they're doing and pick their brains, as they will likely want to pick your brains. Again, I just stress that the Global Action Team is here to help, so don't feel bad about contacting us. That's what we're here for. And we'll have, at the end of this, there'll be a screen with all the contact information for Adam and myself and Tony Subcheck from DeForest. So we will have that there. Some of the other things that you might be challenged with might be club dues. Depends on who in your club takes care of this. Some clubs the secretary does, some clubs the treasurer does. So depending on your situation, this may be part of your job description. There's a Club Excellence Award. Typically this is completed by the secretary or president, typically the secretary though, and it needs to be signed by the president and then sent to we're asking that it be sent to the exec team. It will get to the district governor to be signed. Actually, the Club Excellence Award for this year will be sent to District Governor Conrad, as he'll be the past district governor, and since these are for his year, he will sign off on them and send them to international. If you don't have the form, it's available to download at LCI, and we can also send it out to all the secretaries after the meeting. Adam, go ahead.
You covered it. I was going to say we were planning on sending it to secretaries and presidents after tonight, but
Okay.
just be on the lookout for that. If you are an incoming secretary, just make sure to give your outgoing secretary a heads up, and maybe look over their shoulder as they fill it out. It's pretty easy.
This Conrad, and I was just going to say I was going to send it out to all clubs that were eligible after June 30th, because if you have positive membership growth, those clubs generally qualify for the Club Excellence Award, and I was going to send it to every club after June 30th when the year closes.
Okay, that'd be great.
Lion Bruce, this is Al Johnson, and I wanted to make a comment about the club dues from the international point of view. They are not going to be changed because they weren't able to vote on them at this time, so that will not change this next year. Just so
Okay.
that's a point of information. Just
Yes.
learned that from Tammy here just a few minutes ago.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, another thing that you will probably be responsible for is the annual corporation report from the Department of Financial Institutions, State of Wisconsin. If you are the registered agent, it would come to you. This is another reason that I mentioned before that you should have a central mailbox, post office box for your club. That way the report, if the secretary leaves for some reason, or that whoever is the agent of that on that leaves the club or disregards it, it will still get to whoever opens that mailbox. So it's a good idea to have a central mailing address. Raffle licenses, either you or the treasurer may be responsible for doing the applications and the reporting for your raffle licenses. Whoever is the listed agent, it could be somebody else in your club too, a committee chair if you have a raffle committee chair or whatever. So it does not have to be the secretary treasurer, it could be someone else within your club. You will be ordering club supplies either from LCI or supplies that your club needs from other sources. In some clubs, the secretary is responsible for the newsletter. Other clubs, the president is. Just depends. If you have a marketing chair, they might be responsible for it, or the PR chair. Just depends on your club. And also another thing that some clubs do, they produce a club directory, and that usually is, there's usually a committee, but usually the secretary is on that because they basically have all the information.
Bruce, can I add
Yes.
one more thing?
Go ahead, Adam.
This probably shouldn't be optional in this day and age, but making sure your club is on social media.
Yes, that's a good idea too.
It kind of ties in with your club's marketing and public relations, but you know, obviously as secretary, you're probably going to have your hand in that.
Well, that's true, and probably most things that deal with any information at all, no matter how it gets out, the secretary has a hand in it somewhere along the line.
Yep.
So just be prepared for that. And I know that all the longtime secretaries that have had a few years under your belt, the longer you've been a secretary, the more they rely on you. So that's just good information. Moving along, you've made it through a year. Not that it's gonna be the end of your secretarial career, but you made it through a year. If you should be so lucky, and I hear Val is going to cancel, or he's going to give up his secretary position after this year. So at the end of the year, check the records for 100% attendance. Make sure all the attendance records are updated, so they're ready for the next year. Prepare any annual reports that you do for activities, donations, service hours, etc. Make sure all the member files are up to date and ready to go to the incoming secretary. And meet with the incoming secretary, review all those records, go through their duties and any outstanding issues, and by all means, help them all you can. Some resources that are listed here: the Lions Learning Center. There's training, all sorts of training on there. There's secretary training plus training for resolution management and etc. The Lions Resource Center. This is a tab under the coronavirus tab. They have a virtual events library that has all sorts of trainings in there. Not all apply to club level, but some of them, such as Your Club, Your Way, running Zoom meetings, etc., those are included in there. And also on the district website, all the training materials for all your incoming officers, whether secretary plus any of the other officers in your club, should be on the district website. And there's lots of other helpful materials there. And then last but not least, if you have any questions, please contact your Global Action team. These are the emails and phone numbers, and when you received your invitations and training materials previously, all those were listed there. They're listed at the end of the training materials. So please contact us if you need help with anything. That's what we're here for. That's pretty much the end of this. I want to open it up now for questions and answers. So please feel free to unmute and give us your questions, or if you.
Bruce, did you say that that there's a training for, I'm very familiar with my LCI, but I've not done my Lion yet. Is there another training for that?
We don't have another training scheduled yet.
No, but I mean, is there one online?
There is a training manual online. We do not have a video training online. If you would like, I'll jot down your name, and there may be a request for some, and if not, I'm happy to do it one-on-one. So
I did the old activity reporting. I just haven't done the new activity reporting.
yeah,
So
you did the activity reporting on my LCI, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So I just haven't done the new one.
This is totally different. So I'm just going to jot down your name with my Lion, and I'll email you, and we can set something up, or if we decide to have a second My Lion training, I will include you in that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, this is Bill Husted.
Yes, Bill.
I guess I'm not familiar with PowerPoint, so I guess I don't understand how to do this PowerPoint training at all. Who should I call? Because I don't want to bog down with this.
Oh no, there's no. There was a PowerPoint that's what you saw on your screen was a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but how do I do it? Because this training we're supposed to use PowerPoint, and I don't understand it.
Bruce, I know what he's talking about.
Okay.
About the files. We have a PDF that I can email you, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be easier. It's got a PDF of the slides. That way you don't need the PowerPoint software. You can just read through the PDF.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have the same presentation as a PowerPoint and as a PDF. So I think both of those were probably emailed to you, but they are on the district website, and Adam said he would send them to you. So he'll just make a note and do that.
Yeah, I was on the district website and I did download those and I printed them off, but I don't know how to use it as a PowerPoint. You're supposed to use that, right?
Well, you can use that training, but you have to have a PowerPoint viewer on your computer. The PDF is exactly the same. It's just not slide by slide. It's just a okay.
The other question I have is, as a new secretary, when can I actually get into the My Lion and My LCI as the secretary? Because I'm not the secretary yet, right?
Yes, that's correct. July 1 should be the date that you can get in. You can set up your account now, though. And
I have my account set up.
Okay, good. There is some training for My LCI on the website, Lions Clubs International website. So you can do that training. What I would do up until then is work with Milo's the secretary now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would try to work with Milo a little bit so that he can show you how to use My Lion and actually let you use it under his login, since he can get into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I have access to some of that as the president, but.
Well, yes, you have access to My Lion as president.
Yeah, you would have access to all of that then.
Yeah.
So I have
you have
access
to all of that.
Oh, I do have access
Yes.
to all of it.
Yes. So you can get into My Lion and actually enter activities and stuff now.
Okay. All right.
And like I said, if you have any questions when you're doing it, don't be afraid to contact Adam or me.
Okay.
Okay.
Bill, the other thing I would just caution you about is when the year turns over and you go to July 1st, sometimes my LCI is down for maintenance for about a week. So it might be right away, but it will happen when it opens up.
Okay.
Tom, you had a question?
Yes, what's the deadline for your MMR reports? Are they a certain time of the month, or when are they normally supposed to be submitted?
No, well, they have to be submitted before the end of the month. You can submit them whenever you want, just so they're in before the end of the month.
Or the end?
My recommendation for that would be if you put a reminder on your calendar for each month, a certain day when you want to do it. I would suggest after your monthly meeting. You can do it because usually if you bring in a new member, you do that at your monthly meeting. You can then put in the new member and update your membership and then do your report at that time. If there's no changes, it's just a simple click, no changes this month, and you're done.
One thing that I did, and Pete Taylor got me in the habit of doing this, was to go in and report on the first of the month or at the first week of the month, because you can always go in and update that report if you have new members coming in and stuff. Then that way, when it comes to the end of the month, you don't have to worry about it because it's already done.
Yeah, that's fine. I have mine set for the first Wednesday of the month. Our meeting is on the first Tuesday, so I have mine set to do that day.
I do the same, Diane.
Other questions?
Bruce, if there are no other questions, it looks like Tammy's here as
Yeah,
Greg.
I see Tammy, so.
I see Tammy.
Actually, it says Greg, but hi, Greg. Okay, so if there's no questions, we'll go on to our incoming district governor, district governor-elect Tammy. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually was looking at who's on the call because I am going to be secretary for my club this year, and I will be calling on all of you guys for some assistance. I missed most of this meeting. First, I want to give a big thank you to our global action team for all their hard work in this officer training. Tony Subject is our global leadership team leader, Adam Croson, our global membership team leader, and Bruce Hoyt is our global service team leader. And they, along with assistance from Mike Keller, moved our officer training to this virtual format. Prior to COVID-19, probably about last October or so, I think we met, and we were talking about possibly doing this next year. Because I was kind of squashing, going, we need to have everything in place, make sure everybody's got internet, Wi-Fi, things like that. But COVID went and made a difference. So we had already updated workbooks and presentations. So we just moved it all online, and thank you for being a part of this with us. So COVID-19 has changed our world, and without our in-person meetings, we've learned how to conduct business with our emails and conference calls, Facebook chats, and our Zoom meetings. And we found a way to elect officers in our clubs. As you can see, you are all here. And our district and state found ways to run elections. And I hope you all enjoyed the opportunity to be able to vote online at our state convention, district convention. We had over 600 people register, delegates register to vote. That is 200 more than state convention last year. In the past, we only have a couple hundred people voting at state conventions. So this is an amazing amount that we're able to have a say in our district and in our state. And I think that's important that everybody has a say. Second Vice President Brian Sheehan out of Minnesota says that COVID-19 has catapulted our organization about 10 years ahead of where they would have been. They are slowly making appropriate changes, but they are having to do it a lot faster than what they have ever intended. And these online meetings have offered us some benefits, and I like to share. So John, the Madison Central virtual meeting, I was on that meeting, and on that meeting was also a snowbird who was still in Arizona. Somebody was working and unable to travel to the meeting, and a third person had had cancer treatments and would not have been able to attend because of the risk of infection. 3 members that normally would not have been at a meeting were able to be at that meeting. They were able to participate. They would have member satisfaction from being able to have a say in their organization. Virtual meetings are also going to offer us a much wider variety and opportunities for speakers and presentations. They can be literally anywhere in the world. I have been attending a lot of these virtual symposiums and seminars from Macedonia and Italy to Norway and Sweden and everything in the US. So much wider variety, so we can listen to anything we might want to hear. And wouldn't it be nice that when we finally can do in-person meetings, that we still have this opportunity for us? And maybe it becomes a hybrid meeting. You will meet in person, but you will also have a Zoom feature for anybody who could not get to that meeting. And while we know that this Zoom meetings doesn't replace that in-person feel, it gives us some wonderful opportunities. And we know that in the state of Wisconsin, we have that thing called winter that sometimes means we can't get to a meeting. Last year, we had a Zoom meeting canceled 4 times because of the weather. Wouldn't that be nice that we could have had a Zoom meeting and just gotten that taken care of? So our district is looking for ways to use this virtual world to our advantage. We will be, as of July 1st, purchasing a Zoom license. Once the district gets a calendar of when we are going to need it for our various meetings, we will open it up to clubs. So if your club would like to experiment without making that commitment, we're going to let you have that opportunity. We just need to get some things in place, right, John? So many clubs have lost their service projects and their fundraisers, but this has not stopped our Lions. We are still providing our services. We continue to fund our food pantries and have other lunch programs for children. We are delivering groceries for our seniors, and we've become adept at Facebook Live, reading to children for a little bit so that parents have a moment to do something of their own, possibly. Maybe we can start doing crafts or science experiments for kids online. We've also helped our environment. Highway cleanup has continued because it's easy to social distance on a highway. We need to continue to provide services in our communities. We just need to get a little bit more creative with it. But during this opportunity, I feel like we're having an opportunity to see maybe what our communities really need from us. It might not be what we've always been offering. I think we're finding a whole different avenue of service opportunities for us. We just need to ask those questions. Some other changes before COVID-19. In December, we lost our first international vice president, Haynes Townsend. Haynes was going to be inducted at the International Convention in Singapore. Also, I appointed Douglas Alexander to that position. He is out of New York. With International Convention canceled, though, it was impossible for us to vote. So because Douglas Alexander was appointed and had not been elected into any of the positions, he was not able to move up in ranks yet. So our current international president, Jung Yul Joy, will remain our international president for another year. His theme, I know, has changed a little bit, but it is going to be kindness matters. He's doing something with diversity, but it is kindness matters. And kindness is the Lions. And we provide kindness in all that we do. And I was reflecting on this. When I was affiliate district president in 2007, 2008, my theme was kindness then. And I urged random acts of kindness, and I'm going to urge the random acts of kindness now. And kindness is big and kindness is small, and it ranges from a smile to a cure. And I ask you, what kindness are you going to be providing? Wisconsin Lions turn 100 in 2021, and the PR campaign is 100 acts of kindness. I want you to document your acts of kindness, because what a kinder place we will be with all of those kindness. Another thing that we have coming to us is the Kindness Matters Service Award. This was just introduced, and we'll be getting more information out to you. It starts July 1st. It's going to be documenting the kindness, the service that we do. So as we create our kinder world, We are going to ask you to share that world with other people so that they learn what the Lions are about. Invite them to our service projects, our acts of kindness. And over the next few months, we're going to learn about NAMI, and this is the North American Membership Initiative. For 20 years, North America's membership has been trending downward, and LCI is looking for ways to change that. They have tested this in 9 pilot districts in the United States and in Canada, and it is working. Jody Burmeister is going to be our NAMI champion. Is going to be leading our district in this initiative, because at the end of 2021, we will be at a positive membership. I want to take an opportunity to thank you for being a part of this great organization. Let's make it a better organization, because our kindness matters to the world and it matters to us. So thank you for letting me be your district governor this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lion Tammy. If there are no other questions, then we will end this meeting. I'd like to thank all of you for coming, and as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Lion Adam, Lion Tony, or myself. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you for having this. It was very nice.
Okay. Glad you could come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well worth the time.
Great.